Hey there! You're listening to an episode of Thorn in Your Side. And I'm your host, C. Thorn. This is the podcast where I talk about information and opinions, both popular and unpopular, related to random topics, both serious and non-serious. And you might as well listen because it needs to be said. Also, you already pressed the play button. So block out distractions, don't leave, and prepare to be entertained and informed. Have you ever watched a TV show or cartoon that had a major impact on you? In other words, a television show or cartoon that you truly enjoyed watching and still think about it after it's over. In some cases, the TV show or cartoon may still come on television. Whether it's reruns or new episodes, you always find yourself watching it because it's really interesting. To me, one of the TV shows that grabbed my attention every week back when I was a kid was Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers! In case you're some of the few people who don't know, Power Rangers is a live-action television series that centers around a group of people, usually teenagers or young adults, who are given the responsibility of protecting their home, as well as the whole planet, from an evil threat. This evil threat is usually a bunch of aliens from another planet or dimension who want to take over the world, enslave humankind, or something similar to that, because why not? This group of young adults have the ability to transform into the Power Rangers in order to fight and defeat the aliens and their monstrous henchmen. Ooh. It's a very simple premise, but it's very successful. You know why? Well, for starters, there's a new season of Power Rangers every year for the past several decades. So obviously, that means people like it. There's usually 5 or more Rangers each season, and each person has a main color after they transform. They could be the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Pink Ranger, Green Ranger, or some other color. To all the people who enjoy watching Power Rangers, as well as the people who used to watch it, and I guess the people who don't watch it at all for whatever reason, I don't mean to be a thorn in your side. But the Power Rangers franchise is one of the coolest franchises of all time. Yep, you heard me. And don't you dare hate. One of the coolest franchises of all time. Believe it or not, the Power Rangers franchise has been around for quite some time. For the American audience, it's been around since the mid-1990s. Despite that, the Power Rangers franchise actually started in Japan back in the 1970s. In Japan, it's called the Super Sentai series. It's an extremely popular genre of TV shows in Japan because they have a lot of them. Seriously, Japan has so many shows featuring transforming heroes and robots, and all of them are awesome and entertaining. From live action to cartoons, Japan produces shows like those every single year. Obviously, these Japanese Super Sentai shows are, well, they're in Japanese. But a subtitled version does exist, which is wonderful and helpful. Either way, I'm glad we've had these English versions of the show because it's just wonderful. There's also plenty of video games, movies, and merchandise, but that's not surprising at all, right? I have some of that. A lot, but I digress. As I said before, I love the Power Rangers franchise. As a kid, I would watch episodes every week. And it was the main reason why I woke up early every Saturday morning. It was such a cool show. The crazy battles, the martial arts, the giant robots, the flashy special effects, the comic relief, the colorful costumes, as well as some very memorable characters. Not just the Power Rangers themselves, but also the enemies. It was very difficult to forget certain characters from the show because they either looked really cool, was very funny, or did something completely crazy. Trust me, there's a lot of craziness as well as a lot of seasons. Yeah, there was a lot of seasons, weren't there? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Power Rangers in Space, Power Rangers Turbo, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Wild Force, Power Rangers SPD, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And that's just a few of them. Keep in mind that there's a new season every year, which is both awesome and hilarious. Isn't that crazy though? Anyway, I hope the franchise keeps going forever and ever because it's just that cool. Now, I'll admit that I didn't watch every single season of Power Rangers because that's way too many. But out of all the seasons I've seen, my favorite would have to be... Oh, wait. Of course. Power Rangers in Space. As the name implies, it's basically Power Rangers in space. That's pretty much it. It was the typical events and actions you'd expect from a season of Power Rangers, but with a space setting. The space thing made things so much cooler, especially compared to the other seasons that I've seen. Once again, it's the seasons that I've seen. I have not seen all the seasons of Power Rangers, especially the more recent ones. I'm not saying that my favorite season is better than your favorite season, but it might be true. Anyway, there are several reasons why I prefer Power Rangers in Space compared to the other seasons that I've seen, and why it's my favorite season overall. The first reason is probably the most obvious one. The cast has so much diversity. There was around 6 Power Rangers that season, and there was plenty of diversity among them. It was nice seeing people of different genders and ethnic backgrounds working together to protect the planet from evil. Honestly, that's always good to see. Even as kids, it's nice to know that people who look like you can be a Power Ranger. This is why diversity and representation is important in general. Trust me when I say that it matters. The second reason is because of a certain someone. Calm down. I don't care if you judge me, but another reason why I like Power Rangers in Space was because of Astronomer. Oh yeah! Can I get a witness? Woo! Now, Astronomer was the name of the villain for the entire season of Power Rangers in Space. And let's just say she was very nice to look at. Very nice. Really, really nice. Seriously, although she was the villain who was trying to take over the world with her legion of goons, it was always nice whenever she appeared on screen. I won't get into extra details, but Astronomer is definitely my favorite villain in the entire franchise. Of course, that's not the only reason why she's my favorite villain. Yes, she's quite hot and attractive and ruthless and seductive. But she also shows a lot of personality and depth throughout the series. As a plot twist later in the season, we find out that Astronomer is actually... Nope, not going to spoil it. Yes, it's a very old season of Power Rangers, but just in case y'all want to watch it for the first time, I don't want to risk ruining the surprise. I do recommend y'all watch it though, as Strama alone is enough reason to binge watch the entire season. But I digress. The next reason is probably the most hilarious one. Apparently, when it comes to Power Rangers, one of the things that fans look forward to the most is crossovers, which is true because I love them. I love crossovers. Don't you just love it when two different groups team up together? Even better, isn't it both awesome and epic when two groups from two different franchises meet up and work together? Of course. Well, Power Rangers in Space probably had one of the wackiest, if not the wackiest, team up in the entire franchise. If you've already seen that episode, then you already know what I'm talking about. Yep, one of the reasons why I love Power Rangers in Space is because of the epic team up between them and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I ain't lying. And I'll gladly repeat myself. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I will never forget that episode because of how awesome and crazy it was. By the way, it wasn't the computer animated or cartoon Ninja Turtles that showed up. Around the time that Power Rangers in Space aired on television, which was a long time ago, there was also a live action Ninja Turtle series. Just like the older Ninja Turtle movies, it was people dressed up in convincing Anthro Turtle costumes. They used those turtle costumes, as well as actors from the show, for the Power Rangers crossover. Anyway, you have a group of giant anthropomorphic turtles fighting alongside the Power Rangers. How is that not cool? I'll gladly admit that I was borderline obsessed with that episode. This team up was just so cool, and I wish it lasted longer. But it didn't. It did. The Ninja Turtles were there for just one episode. But it's probably one of my favorite episodes in the entire franchise. Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. So awesome. Love it. I love it so much. So cool. As a reminder, I didn't plan on being a thorn in your side. But the Power Rangers franchise is awesome. Just plain awesome. I remember watching the first episode of the first season back when I was in elementary school. And I kept watching new episodes for years. It was so cool seeing teenagers and young adults transform into color-coded superheroes and fight a bunch of evil henchmen and monsters. Then the monster would always become huge, and the Power Rangers would have to summon giant robots to fight against it. It was just so cool. The show was always popular with the young audience. In fact, I have clear memories of pretending to be Power Rangers with my siblings and cousins, and we would fight imaginary monsters in the backyard. Good times. And it was great exercise. My final point is that if you basically believe that Power Rangers is a pretty cool franchise and should stick around for several more years, then you're awesome. This franchise started off in Japan several decades ago as Super Sentai, and it's still successful and ongoing. This lets you know how popular and influential the franchise is to the fans as well as the world. Of course, we all get older and might have a change of interest. Although I don't watch Power Rangers as often as I used to, I still try to catch a few episodes of each season, and there's a new season every year. As I said before, crossovers and team-ups are pretty common in the franchise, and I love seeing them. It's usually one group of Power Rangers team up with another group of Power Rangers from a different season, but there are times in which they might team up with another franchise, such as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That episode was awesome. I hope the Power Rangers franchise will continue to be around for as long as possible, because it's absolutely amazing. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Thorn in Your Side. And I'm your host, Seaborn. Feel free to share, subscribe, tweet, comment, react, post, follow, or whatever. And there'll be another thought-provoking episode next week. And remember, be smart and stay sharp.